Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills in order to help you level up your way with words and become much more articulate. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome aboard. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm dropping brand new videos on public speaking, social skills, emotional intelligence, and much more. Join the tribe by hitting the subscribe button right down below. Hit that bell notification and never miss another video again. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And be sure to drop that like on your way in. Today's episode is about how to give brilliant advice. It just seems as though that the space of technology is merging with the space of communication skills. And this is the era where more and more people are starting to build specific knowledge in regards to a certain field, and then they are chronicling their journey in this field. Let's say you're someone who loves to fish. You're learning how to fish, and eventually you're making videos on that. Let's say that you love to do impromptu speaking. So you keep on giving more impromptu talks, and you make your YouTube channel based off of that. Let's say you're trying to start a storytelling podcast. You already know the drill. You are building specific knowledge, experiences, and you're chronicling that. Through the process of content creation, more people who back in the days didn't give advice, nowadays give advice. This is the era where we need very niched teachers. Teachers who know about certain fields in a hyper-targeted way. But here's the thing. Although there's more responsibility as communication skills and technology are merging with one another, one thing that's happening is that people are not aware that taking the time to give the right advice is an art form. And one of the first lessons in regards to giving brilliant advice is to understand that your goal is not to try to give advice to everyone. This is the first lesson. Because when you're over here trying to give advice to everyone, what starts to happen is that you actually start to become a recruiter rather than a person who is taking the time to give a clear explanation that will benefit this other person's life. And let me give you an example. This was a few months back, I would say, and there was this one person that I knew who had just started their business. They had just quit their job, and they were going all in on the business grind. Now, there was another kid that I knew that wanted to work his way up in the corporate ladder. The business guy, I'm just going to call him business guy. I'm not going to give him a fancy name or anything. And the other guy is a corporate guy. They're over here having this interaction with one another. And the corporate guy is pretty much explaining his problems. But he's explaining his problems in a way where you could tell that he wants to move up in the corporate life. But at this stage, there's certain things that he doesn't like too much about his boss. And at this stage, I could just see the business guy's body language and how he's already preparing the advice that he's going to give to the other person. As corporate guy is done speaking, the business guy now jumps in and he's like, listen, you need to quit your corporate job and you need to start your own business. Trust me, this is the perfect advice for you. And for the next 20 to 30 minutes, this guy, corporate guy, is saying that the business grind of it all is really not his thing. He knows that he could work it out in the corporate space, and that's just what he needs to do. He just needs a few more tweaks. But business guy is constantly pounding his own advice more to corporate guy. Was business guy really giving advice? Or was he pretty much just saying, all right, look, this is what worked for me, and I want you to do the same thing? That's how a lot of people give advice. They're pretty much operating with the recruitment mentality, which is not right. Instead, all it's going to do is confuse other people, or worse, make them resent you. Because I can guarantee you this, right after business guy and corporate guy were done talking, there was this cold war between the two. So that's one of the ways to avoid giving bad advice. To first understand that not everyone is meant for our advice in the first place. But let's say that we want to now give the good advice. All right, Armani, you said what not to do, but what should I do? The very first thing that a creator should understand is that there's different ways to view reality. There's the societal level, and then there's the individual level. When we're talking about society, we're traditionally thinking in black and white, right and wrong, true and false. But whenever we're talking about individuals, that's when we're going to a gray territory where right and wrong seems more up for grabs, where true and false is once again up for grabs. Society equals Newtonian way of viewing the world. Individuals represent quantum way of viewing the world. When we're giving advice, we need to first assess what group are we speaking to. Are we speaking to societal level, which pretty much means that there's a collection of humans, or are we speaking to one-on-one individuals? And you may see that at times you're wearing both hats. Let's say there's a guy named Timothy who has a very poppin' YouTube channel. When he's making videos, he probably is giving societal level advice where there's a lot of black and white sort of thinking that's involved. But let's say Timothy also owns a consulting practice. People pay money to speak to him one-on-one. Is it right for Timothy to keep on giving black and white advice in a one-on-one setting? No. In this scenario, it's much smarter if Timothy takes the time to understand what this person is going through, what they want to do in their lives, and then custom fit an advice for that. So whenever you're speaking to an individual, it's best to think of advice sort of like shoes. Because I know a lot of other people my height, they're roughly 6 foot tall, they weigh roughly 180 pounds, they have the same size shoe as me. And if I go to a party and this person puts his shoes right next to mine and he's wearing the same exact shoes, we chill in the party, we have a fun time, and then by the time we're about to leave, I wear the shoes, automatically, I feel like something's wrong with it. This other person feels like something's wrong with it, and immediately, him and I can tell that we've swapped our shoes. The host can't tell. Host is like, what do you mean? It looks the exact same, and you guys have the same exact build. How can you guys tell that there's a shift in the shoes? It's because we're the people that are constantly wearing it. We notice these small little changes. And likewise, whenever we're giving advice, we have to understand that the more and more that we're speaking to one-on-one individuals, the more nuanced our thinking needs to become. The more that listening is a must. And from listening, the advice pretty much presents itself. And whenever we're dealing with societal-based source of advice, that's when black and white thinking is far more efficient. So quick little recap. In terms of giving advice, we have to understand that not everyone is meant for our advice because a lot of people, they just want to vent. They don't want to be told what to do. But for the few people that do want our advice, there's going to be different categories of people that we're dealing with. For some people, it's going to be on a societal level, which requires black and white sorts of right and wrong advice. And anytime we're going more and more from Newtonian to quantum, and we're dealing with individuals, the more gray that our advice will become. If you can't swap hats, then you, my friend, risk giving bad advice. And that bad advice is going to ultimately hurt your reputation. That's not good karma. So if you want some of my advice, be sure to check out my free daily newsletter, which drops practical advice on strategies on communication skills, public speaking, social skills, and much more. Learn to adjust as the world of technology and communication skills are merging, and do not fall behind. Join the tribe by checking out the links in the description box, the pinned comment, or go on ArmaniTalks.com and sign up today. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I will catch you on the next episode.